it's time to lock in for some crypto news. All right, so first we have to start off with the market. As of July 6th, here are your top 10 cryptos. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, XRP, BNB, Solana, USDC, Tron, Dogecoin, and Cardano. Now, not much has changed with the top 10 cryptos over the last year, really. And of course, for this cycle, all eyes are on Bitcoin. Especially with the pro-crypto government, it seems like more and more companies are buying Bitcoin. And we really haven't had that altcoin cycle we've been really waiting for. Now, will altcoin season come? I hope so. But again, all the focus has been on Bitcoin. Now, if you would have told me back in 2021 that we'd have a Bitcoin at nearly $110,000 and an Ethereum that it can't even get close to its all-time high, I would have called you crazy. But Ethereum has barely been staying above $2,500. I think the true altcoin season will lead with Ethereum. Yes, we've had a few all-time highs in the meantime, like Solana, Tron, BNB, and many other altcoins have hit all-time high. But for the most part, altcoins have been kind of lagging behind. Now let's hop into some meme coins. Now, the top 10 meme coins are Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Bonk, Trump, Fartcoin, SPX, Pudgy Penguins, Dog with Hat, and Floki. Now we see a couple of OG bangers on here from 2021. Of course, Doge, Shib, and Floki. Some ones that are a little older, like Pepe, Bonk, and Whiff, and then some newcomers like Trump Token, Fartcoin, SPX, and Pudgy Penguin. Now the four memes that have been kind of constant in the top 10 meme coins have been, of course, Doge, Shib, Pepe, and Bonk. The rest of them are kind of interchangeable. Now Trump Token's looking pretty good. Obviously, that's our president's official meme coin, which is really insane if you think about it. I think right now the ones with the most hype that are in the top 10 are probably SPX 6900 and of course Fartcoin. Those are the newest comers to the top 10 meme coins, and definitely some projects you should keep your eyes on. So I hope you had an awesome 4th of July. And just to change your perspective about crypto, these are the prices of Bitcoin on the 4th historic. So Bitcoin's first ever 4th of July, it was trading around 1 cent. Then we see in 2011, $15, 2012, $7, $77, $640, and of course all the way up to today's price at $108,000. And through the years you could see fluctuations, and that's why it's so important to zoom out and just look at the Bitcoin chart long term. Next, it's some random news that really surprised me was the fact that Drake actually mentioned Bitcoin in one of his newest songs. Look, I'm a huge Drake fan, and when I heard this, I was on it right away. And it seems that the rest of the crypto news sphere is starting to catch up. And this was the verse from the song.
What's the get back for niggas is TBD. I look at this shit like a BTC. Could be down this week and I'm up next week. I don't give a fuck if you love me.
Now, it may not be the biggest news, but I think it's important. You have one of the biggest artists of all time mentioning crypto. And no, it didn't shoot the price of Bitcoin sky high, but it just goes to show how more Bitcoin is becoming part of our everyday lives. All right, so the next piece of news is the fact that the US Secret Service launches a global operation to combat crypto scams. Now, that's interesting because obviously, since Donald Trump got elected, regulations have kind of been loosened, and people joke saying that crime is legal again. Now, I think the benefit of the SEC loosening up regulations on crypto was the fact that they were just going after legit companies like Coinbase, at Ripple, Binance, so on and so forth. But there still are some scammers out there that need to be dealt with. And I like the fact that there's something that's going to combat that in this space. So we'll see how that plays out, but interesting news. And of course, we have to check in with our favorite lovable idiot, Jim Cramer, because Bitcoin is up over 350% since Jim Cramer told us to sell back in 2023.
Bitcoin went up today, and I could argue that now it can't even be held in banks. Bitcoin's a strange animal. I will say point blank, I think it's being manipulated up. It was being manipulated the whole time by Sam Bankman-Fried. So please don't assume, therefore, that it's not still being manipulated. And I would sell my Bitcoin right into this rally. And believe me, I had been a believer one time in Bitcoin. Not here, not now.
Holy airball. Jim Cramer is pretty much a meme, and you literally just do the opposite of what he says and things are going to work out. Now, to put things in perspective in a different way, less than 7% of the global population is invested in crypto. That means that even if you see Bitcoin at $110,000 and you think it's still too high, only 7% of the people in the world are invested in crypto. So if you're watching this, you're still early, and it would be a good idea to get some Bitcoin or any crypto before governments and the elite buy it all up. Now, the US Director of Digital Assets says that, quote, "We want as much Bitcoin as we can possibly accumulate." Check this out.
The time too, as we set up the strategic Bitcoin reserve, it's like, how much Bitcoin do you want? And I think that's a very silly question the journalists ask. We want as much Bitcoin as we can possibly accumulate.
Now, it's something we've been talking about ever since Trump got elected. The government and just companies in general, institutions in general, are trying to buy up as much Bitcoin as they can. Now, I still think we're in the early phase of all of this, and you still have time to get in at prices that we may never see again. But it just goes to show how the government is thinking. And the thing is, we haven't really established a way to actually buy Bitcoin, but we do have about 2 200,000 Bitcoin seized from scams and fraud and crimes in general. But you can bet that going forward, the government will figure out a way to buy it using taxpayer money or however. So how much Bitcoin should you buy? I always say as much as you can afford. 20 bucks a week, 20 bucks a month, whatever you can get your hands on, I think is valuable. Now this is interesting because 8 dormant Satoshi era Bitcoin wallets were reactivated after 14 years, moving a total of 8.6 billion in Bitcoin since last night. Now this was on July 3rd. And right here you can see the transactions. Now Satoshi era means these guys bought Bitcoin for cents and dollars. So I don't know what's going on, but it's interesting that 8 dormant wallets are just reactivated out of nowhere. And that begs the question, is Satoshi still alive? All right, so the next piece of news is Senator Lummis introduces a bill to exempt tax on crypto transactions under $300. Now, obviously, Lummis has been down for Bitcoin since day one. One of our few people in the government that are kind of crypto OGs and are not just hopping on the bandwagon. Now, this would be awesome because a lot of people that transact with crypto on a day-to-day basis aren't doing tens of thousands of dollars. They're doing, a couple $100 here and there. So this would benefit the everyday person. We'll see if it happens, but I like where she's coming from. In other news, the US economy added 147,000 jobs in June, higher than expectations, and the US unemployment rate fell to 4.1%, lower than expectations. Now, say what you want about Trump, but it seems like the economy is moving in the right direction. With that being said, we did just sign that one big, beautiful bill that Trump's been talking about forever, and it is going to add to the national debt. And to be honest, I don't know how we handle this debt. And you see that Elon Musk and Trump have been beefing publicly about the debt situation. Obviously, Elon Musk was huge in helping getting Trump elected, donating hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign, but using the biggest platform in the world, X, to kind of just put the real news out there. I think that Elon Musk thought that Trump wouldn't be someone who was going to be a business as usual. And look, Trump is different from a normal politician, but at the end of the day, there's other factors at play. And I think that Elon Musk feels kind of betrayed. But gas prices are down, jobs numbers are coming back better than expected. We recently hit an all-time high in the stock market. Like really on the surface, things are looking good. But again, this debt situation is something that we're going to have to address eventually. We're just kicking the can down the road for the next generation. Yeah, some people may say, fuck them kids, who cares about them? I like where Elon Musk is coming with all. He's trying to think of us in the future. Now, if you guys didn't know, Elon Musk created his own party called the American Party. Now, I think it's actually a legit party, and it focuses on putting the American people first, which obviously is going to cause some division in the Republican Party. The Democrats will kind of win, I think, because of the situation. So it's kind of splitting the Republican Party. We'll see what happens, but interesting times in the political landscape. And maybe we need a new party. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting 4 years. All right, so the last piece of news has to do with Ethereum, because yes, the price is down, but is there hope for Ethereum in the future? Because again, it's lagging way behind Bitcoin, and we're not even close to an all-time high. We're pretty much like a 2x away from an all-time high. But this article from CNBC's Crypto World says that Ethereum is powering Wall Street's future. The crypto scene at Keynes shows how far it's come. So crypto founders, developers, and some institutional giants gathered at the Ethereum Community Conference, or ETHCC, in France. Ethereum's institutional adoption is accelerating, with BlackRock, Deutsche Bank, Coinbase, and Kraken all building directly on its rail. And Robinhood became the first US public company to launch tokenized stocks on chain using Ethereum's Arbitrum network. And this has always been the big bull case of Ethereum, that institutions are going to use it for their business. Now, right now, where just tokens, reign supreme, and I'm talking mostly meme coins, ERC20 tokens, or Solana tokens, so on and so forth. Really, the focus hasn't been on Ethereum. It's been all on Solana. Like people are building meme coins on Solana, or maybe even Sweet. And I don't know if a meme coin craze will ever come back to Ethereum, but it seems like the market is shifting in that direction, because Solana has really lost a lot of its hype because Pump Fund is really just known for pump-a-dump scams with projects that you can only invest in for a day or so. Whereas I think Ethereum is starting to be seen as a place where you can buy a big legit meme coin project and hold for an extended period of time, i.e. Pepe, Shiba Inu, so on and so forth. But what's bigger than meme coins are institutions. And if these big companies and other big companies can get behind Ethereum, then really the sky is the limit for Ethereum. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Obviously, this is my first news video that I've made. And if you'd like to see me add or take out anything, let me know in the comments down below. I would like your feedback. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.